Hey, it's Friday. Hello, I'm back. Friday's Y&R review. I made it 3 weeks. So let's see. Starts out with Billy and Victoria talking about the baby, and they're happy and they're glad that Chelsea went through with it. So now they know that nobody can take their baby away because everything is legit. So they decide on getting him christened 2 days, spur of the moment. So Chelsea is thinking about leaving Genoa City still, and she said there's nothing keeping her there. So Nick tells Phyllis that she cannot get rid of him, so quit trying to come up with ways to get rid of him because he's all hers. He's not going nowhere. He's always going to be there. Abby and Chloe are still trying to come up with ideas for the gala. They're not agreeing on anything. One wants to do fashion, one wants to do something dealing with the arts. Kevin tells them to combine their ideas, and they tell him no at the same time. He just said he'll stay out of it. Kevin asks Jill why Catherine put them two in charge and together in charge in the first place. She said, I don't even know what she be thinking. So he also asked about Lauren and how she was doing, and talk about how crazy Daisy was. And Jill tells him that her and Michael are staying with her at the estate. Chloe and Abby were still going back and forth, and Carmine, I think his name, is the one that used to be with uh, Angelina. Um, they see Carmine, they both go, oh, we hate them, and Chloe's like, at least we agree on something. So Nikki tells Jack Sarge called, and he said, oh yeah, really? And she said, yeah, I gave him my number back in the past, so he was just calling to check on you. And he said that he's going to go through with the surgery. He's already had an appointment to meet with the doctor about it. He still wants to do it. She's questioning him about it, and as she's questioning him about doing the surgery, Ashley overhears and asks him if he's serious. So Chloe tells Abby how Carmine said he was going to steal her right before their honeymoon, and Abby tells Chloe about how she ran into him and accidentally spilled hot coffee on him, and she spent the whole day at the hospital, most of her day at the hospital with him, and he brings up this whole naked heiress thing, and that's how he got his hand all bandaged up. So they see the baby and they all get excited and they leave because Carmine came over and he was like, oh, look at you two. It's not no surprise that they're friends and all of that. And they, went off on him, and then they saw the baby and they walked away to be with the baby. So everybody's oohing and ahhing over the baby, and Jill takes the baby. Billy was like, I'm glad I have you all here because we were going to get him christened today. And Jill says, oh, all you guys do, it doesn't surprise me because all y'all do is do things spur of the moment. So they asked Kevin and Chloe to be the godparents. They're both surprised, but, they asked Kevin because Kevin was there for Billy, with the whole lie with the Delia needing the bone marrow and all that. And Chloe was there, her and Victoria say her and Chloe became good friends, and she would like them to be friends. So they are surprised that they asked them, but they did say yes. Chelsea says it's not a lot keeping her there. Adam asks about Jeffrey and bonding with him. Why don't you go and try to bond with your father or whatever? She said, well, I don't even know if that's really my father because he's saying that it's his brother and not him. So Adam's like, well, I'm always here. You can stay here with me. And Phyllis talks about Lucy to Nick, how she just wants to have her toys and play with her and be with her again, and how she doesn't know how to explain to Summer that her sister's not coming back when they were just, becoming a bond, having a bond and everything. So Nick reassures her that Summer will be okay. They'll, talk about it when the time comes up. And he says, stop sweating things that you can't control. And Ashley and Nikki are still trying to reason with Jack about the surgery, and he's like, I want to be able to walk again. I don't have time to sit around and take this slow at a time. I want to get this done. So while they're arguing, Jack gets a phone call. It's Billy. He's calling about the christening. He said he's going to bring Ashley and Nikki. Abby gets a call. They're back at they're back at the coffee house, and Billy is telling Victoria that she talked to Ashley, and I mean talked to Jack. He's gonna bring Ashley and Nikki, and she's saying all the people that she called. So they was like, okay, y'all, let's go. And Abby received a phone call. She's like, I'll be right on, guys. And she tell the person on the telephone to come to the christening. And they were like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, it's gonna blow Victoria and Billy's mind to see you there. They didn't ever identify at that point who the person was. So Chelsea is hoping that Jeffrey is her father and that he will come around and they can have a real relationship. And Adam says, yes, I think, that'll be good. Vicky calls Nick. Victoria calls Nick, and he says he can't make it because he's there with Phyllis, and she's still feeling bad about Lucy, so he doesn't think she wants to be around that at the moment. She understands. He said, tell my nephew, his favorite uncle, gives him high five, he loves him and all that. So he goes on in with Phyllis. Gloria is apologizing to Phyllis about Daisy, and Phyllis is like, I really don't want to hear this. I know, she knows they mean well, but right now she just wants to have food. She just wants everybody to quit telling about it. So Gloria gets ready to take them to their table, and she tells Nick that Sharon is there, and Sharon looks up at him, and so everybody arrives at the church, and they're talking to the pastor guy, and he tells them, they thank him for squeezing them in, and he was like, fine, anyway, and christening the baby. And so everybody shows up, and Catherine pops in, and she gets to talking about how John would have been happy to be there. And as they're talking about family, Kyle shows up, and everybody is like shocked. So that's the person, Abby. Abby was like, I have this major surprise for you guys, and introducing. And he comes in the door, and everybody is just shocked. They're glad he's there. Nikki, they get to talking about how he's there. Jack is happy. He's excited. I'm looking at my time. Nikki asks him how was his trip, and he goes, the trip was fine, like strange, like looking at her like, why are you asking me about my trip? So the christening goes forward, and Kyle notices Nikki and Jack holding hands, and he looks real upset. So Sharon apologizes to Phyllis about Lucy, and she already don't really like Sharon, and for her to already be going through, she just walked over to the table. So Jeffrey brings the calamari to the fried well, at first we didn't know what it was, but he brings food over to the table, and Phyllis gets a whiff of it, and she's like, take it away, because she started feeling nauseous. So Chelsea and Adam show up, and Sharon looks at them all funny because they came in together. So they, didn't mind her. She's like, he was like, you wanna stay? He's like, I'm fine. You wanna stay? And she's like, I'm fine. So they asked for Jeffrey. Sharon comes over while they sitting, and she tell Adam happy birthday. Chelsea's like, today's your birthday? Because he didn't tell anybody. Sharon didn't want him to think that she forgot that about his birthday. That was the only reason why she came over, and then she left. So Chelsea wasn't sure why he didn't tell her, and he's like, it just wasn't a big deal. So Jeffrey came over to talk to Chelsea, and Chelsea's like, yes, I just wanted to talk to you about my dad. And he was like, well, I didn't know much about your dad. We really didn't grow up together, and so that's just what all I know about him. It's from when he was here, and he didn't, live much longer. So Chelsea and Adam are shocked that he just so sure he not her father. He just gonna go all off and talk about his brother. So as they're preparing to leave, everybody from this christening come over for the little after party, after dinner. Excuse me. So Billy and Victoria see Chelsea, and she's looking at them, and kind of sad. So Nick asks Phyllis, they go back. Nick asks Phyllis why she's acting strange, because Phyllis wanted to leave after she smelled the food and she got nauseous, and she's like, let's just go. I just want to go home. So they must have stopped by the drugstore or something, and he was like, why were you acting funny in the drugstore? Why did you keep dodging me? And so she got to telling him about when she was at the restaurant, she smelled calamari, and it made her nauseous. And the last time she smelled calamari and was nauseous was when she was pregnant with Daniel. So she showed him the pregnancy test that she got. And so he was like, are you pregnant? And he looked shocked. And she was like, well, I won't know until I take the test. So he was like, well, go take it then. So she went on to go take the test. So Vicky wanted to invite, she was like, do y'all think I should invite her over? And Kevin and Chloe was like, well, that would be awkward for everybody, right? And Abby was like, and besides, she does have Adam with her. So they agreed not to, invite her over. Kyle pulls Abby out of the mix and asks her about Jack and Nikki. So as she talking to him, they over there talking to Jack. Ashley and Nikki are talking to Jack, and he said he's reconsidering the surgery now that Kyle is home, and he see Billy and Victoria with the baby, and he was just so adamant about walking fast. But now he's gonna do it the right way and take his time, so they're all happy about that. Chelsea walks over as she's getting ready to leave, and she congratulates Victoria and Billy, and they invite her to stay, and she says no, and her and Adam leave. Billy goes to get drinks. Sharon comes over to congratulate Vicky, and she questions her like, "Why didn't y'all do nothing special for Adam? It's his birthday." And she was like, "We didn't even know it was his birthday. But after all he's done, why we, who would expect us to put streamers and all that around for him?" So I'm trying to speed this up, guys. I have like 4 minutes. Okay, so Kyle uh he walks over, he storms over to see Jack, and he's questioning her about Nikki, like, why can you be with her and let her touch your hand, the same hand that bashed my mom's head into the ground and killed her. And he was real mad, like, how could you be with her after she did that to my mom? And Jack's telling him to calm down. He's like, no, you don't tell me to calm down. She did this to my mom, and please tell me you're not, gonna be with her. And he just stormed out mad. So Adam and Chelsea return from Glowworm, and she's asking him about his whole birthday, and he's like, it's just not important. And she said, well, I'm gonna show you how important it is. I have room service coming up in a minute with a birthday cake for you. And he was like, well, I could use a little birthday cake right now, and after all I've been through. And she starts to look sad, and he said, you don't have to hide stuff from me. I know that giving up your baby today and your father rejecting you is hard on you right now, so you don't have to play hard. I'm here. Nick and Phyllis waiting on the results, and he tells her that he wants to marry her no matter if she's ready or pregnant or not. And he proposes. Before she can answer, the bell goes off for her to go see the pregnancy results. So Adam and Chelsea, they start hugging and kissing. Sharon is at the door with a card, but it doesn't show if she's going to knock on the door or put the card under the door or anything. She's just at the door. Nick is pacing the floor waiting on the results. Phyllis comes back and tells him that she's pregnant, so he has this big smile. Abby begs Kyle to come back to the dinner. He says no. Jack apologizes to Nikki for Kyle's, outburst, and she says she totally understands why he felt that way, and she's just gonna go away for a while. And he said, why are you gonna go away? You don't have to do that. And she said, I'm not going away just to go away. I'm going away to give you guys some time to bond and cool things over. And he's like, okay, maybe you right. So Victor gets a knock on the door, and he's like, come in. And it's Kyle, and he was like, oh, Kyle, good to see you, glad to see you back. And he asked him, can he come live with him? And Victor just kind of looked. So next Monday, Avery is supposed to call Ricky a loser. Sharon is supposed to tell somebody they look sick, something's wrong with them. I think it's going to be Phyllis. And Jack says, telling uh, Victor, you're using him to get to me. It's not going to happen, talking about Kyle. So that's it for the week, you guys. I made it under 15 minutes. One video, yes. Good. I'm glad. So I have 10 minutes to talk to y'all. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Tomorrow night I'll be in with my soap spoilers for the next week, and the comings and goings, and the news, and the whatever else is going to happen. So you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow night, and after that, Monday. Love you to pieces. Have a good day. Bye-bye.